Hello, folks.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hello.
Hey.
We will be recording this meeting on Zoom as well as on YouTube, and we are live.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this council meeting, Tuesday, April 20th, 2021. I apologize, I'll end up taking breaks for foggy glasses and things like that, but it's all part of the COVID protocol. First of all, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
Yes.
James?
Yep.
No.
Good. So James, I've got you down. And we can move on therefore to staff reports. Hopefully, do they all have them? Okay. In no particular order, all the staff is here tonight. So I have Dan McGinnis on the top. If you just want to quickly go over that and see if you have any questions for Dan.
I didn't get Dan's.
Okay, well then I'll go over it. It said, we've been busy sweeping roads in the nice weather. Opened the museum, had to get taps replaced because they were leaking. And there's a section of fascia that has fallen off. And we have someone coming to repair it. They've been busy hand brushing along roads as preventive maintenance. We've pulled the plows and the wings off of trucks, painted them up and put them away for the summer. Dealing with beaver problems on the Muskeg and Green Acres. One of the turbo lines blew on the grader and we're getting it repaired by tomorrow. Parts are coming in tonight. Started our annual safeties on the dump trucks and continue to maintain equipment. Today I wondered if they pulled the plows and wings off too early, but nothing stayed on the ground, so that was a positive. Any questions for Dan?
No.
Yeah, I was a little nervous.
No questions, but I just wondered how he made out with the sinkhole on LSS, South my place.
Yeah, we filled it in today, Tom. There's a culvert there we're gonna have to change.
Yeah, it looked like it. I stopped and put some sticks in the hole the other day. And I thought it looked like the culvert.
Yeah, I was out there today. Yeah, we filled her in today, but it's on my list for locates to get, we'll replace it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll move on to John Paul Negrinati, Acting Deputy Clerk, PDO, Planning Assistant, CEMC. Now, James, did you get John Paul's?
Just checking here.
Okay. If they were together, you may not have got it.
I didn't get those two either that I can see now.
Okay, well, let me read this one to you then as well. From John Paul, he's keeping busy with zoning, planning approvals for building permit issuance. Still remaining on the phone all day, but he's heard from other municipalities that they're experiencing high volume of planning inquiries also due to current market conditions. He helped with newsletter distribution. I can attest to that. And there's a new terminals. The new terminal server has arrived at the office and is online. And once we get a clearing in the schedule, Rick Baker will communicate with Sunwire to transfer the files over. So, any questions for John Paul on that regard?
No.
Okay, James, you good?
Yep, good.
Okay. How about Township of Nipissing Fire Department?
I got that one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good, because it's really long and I didn't want to read it. If anybody just wants to look over it quickly. And I know you've all seen it before. And we will be talking about, again, number 6 on the agenda when we get to it. And that was under health and safety. And then on the back, we see training, the weekly health unit update, webinars, grass and brush season, and then miscellaneous below that. And it's interesting to see that municipal government operations are considered an essential service, therefore we can continue with training and meetings. So any questions other than number 6 right now? Are there any questions for Will?
No.
I have one question.
Okay,
At our last council meeting, Chris mentioned that Will applied for and received a $5,000 grant. Now, is that in addition to the funding we received, the fire department funding, or is that one and the same? Did we have to apply for that?
which fund? I'm sorry, Will, which funding do you mean, Liz?
Well, there was a funding in the news. It was COVID funding, and we got $5,000 to help with a fire department to help with the pandemic. But that was funding. Chris mentioned that Will also applied for a grant and received it. Is this one in the same, or is this the same one?
It's the same one. We had to apply for it.
You had to apply for it. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. All right.
Okay, any other questions for Will? Okay, now, did anybody not get Chris Croskery Hodgins staff report?
I got it.
If
I
you-
got it.
Okay, good. Just to highlight the Canada Summer Jobs Program. And we're looking at the new Public Works laborer position.
And the summer students.
Yeah, for summer students, the first. And then the draft position descriptions and organizational charts. And I believe everybody got those.
Yeah.
And a working group established for community safety and well-being plan with Powassan, Calendar, and Chisholm. And tax notices have been mailed. 6 properties being reviewed for tax sale. And each file is being reviewed and communication attempts are being made with the property owners prior to proceeding. So we're trying to give everybody every opportunity to respond. Are there any questions for Chris?
Yes, I have some, Tom.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
One of them is in light of a couple of complaints that we received last week. I realized that the office is now putting the fire permits outside of the door to be picked up. But in light of the fact that we don't even have our summer residents that have come yet, and they will probably be beating at the door looking for their fire permits, have we found a way to offer this so that they can fill it out online? I looked at other local municipalities online, and they are offering this, especially with COVID. They're offering fire permits online, dog tags. You can use Visa, MasterCard, or online banking. And I'm wondering, as I said, with COVID, should we not be looking into this and offering it? Because we don't know how much longer this is going to last. It could be a new normal for us.
Well, currently we offer the fire permits there's a downloadable form on the website, or we will mail it, fax it. We'll email it if there's any issues with them obtaining it off of the website, or they can pick them up here. And to return them, they can take pictures and email them fax them, scan them, or mail them, or drop them off. Because our permits are now permanent for the entire time that you own the property and they're a legal document, we're keeping them in the property file. We prefer to have the actual signature. We did look at the fillable, signable PDF program, and I believe we're looking at, I don't, John Paul, do you remember how much she said that was gonna be just for the one form?
Looks like it's starting around 1,100.
That's to offer this full service
For that one form?
for just for the fire department form.
Yes, and it's a free permit, we don't charge for.
And there's no other way that, that we can have any of this done without paying for it?
Well, for a PDF fillable, signable document form, there's a whole bunch of different programs that go with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the licensing fees come from, because we have to have a certified signature on that document for the legal file.
And that $1,100, would that be yearly or that's a one-time fee?
We just looked into setting it up. I don't know what the maintenance of that will be.
Okay, well, I think,
Up to now, I think we're almost at, are we at 450 permits, I think, so far? So,
Yes.
and
okay,
those are-
I just,
those are permanent, so.
okay. I just think it might be, yeah, they are permanent, so maybe with, but I think if we come across this for anything else, we should probably look into it.
Yeah, we have it started with our website designer,
Okay,
and
Mike,
we have 475 fire permits issued now, and with the issue that was raised last week, that's the first issue that that's been brought to our attention out of the 475 so far for 2021.
okay. The other thing is with
Yeah.
one of that one issue, but another one also, I wouldn't mind, perhaps for the next meeting, reviewing our complaint policy. And really, I don't think it would hurt for us to look at a couple of policies a meeting. I'd let, you know, unless if it was something that was relevant to today, we could pull that policy up, but perhaps the staff could look at old ones that maybe need some changes or some tweaks. I don't know if everybody's in agreement, just a suggestion. I think it would be a good idea, but I'd certainly like to review the complaint policy. What else was there? The other thing, the Zoom meetings and the private sessions. I know that other municipalities in the area are offering private sessions in these times. I know you mentioned in your report that because of our procedural bylaw, we can't. I looked to see why we can't, and I couldn't really see it. Can you explain that, Chris?
That was a choice that was made when we updated the procedural bylaw when we went into these meetings. And
Okay,
that was made at the time.
I think with the changes and the fact that we're in lockdown so often, I think we need to relook at that
yes,
and change it so that we can have, because we never know if something comes up and we're in lockdown and we need a private session, we're going to have to do it in some format. So I think that needs a relook.
I agree with you, Liz.
Okay, what was the other thing?
With the lockdown, just sorry, Liz, for a minute.
Yeah.
I just wondered, have we contacted the municipal affairs to see about the rulings on it?
When they provide us with all of the details, it's all in the act. We can change our procedural bylaw to allow us to have closed session meetings during the emergency order. It was just decided when we redid the procedural bylaw, council and the CAO at the time decided not to proceed with allowing it. So we just have to update the procedural bylaw.
We can
Okay.
change that.
Okay, that
Alright.
might be good. Probably at the time, we thought that this was temporary thing, but here we are over a year later and it's far from being temporary. So could we look at that at next meeting, Chris?
We can, there's an advertising requirement for any changes to the procedural bylaw. So
Okay,
it will take a few weeks, but yes.
All right.
definitely.
Okay.
The other thing, I went over and we can discuss this, and again, in closed session whenever, but I talked to our solicitor over the complaint policy.
yes,
And he was quite satisfied with it, the way it stands. But if we want to look at that, we can bring it up in the future. But he said he had no problems with it, and he thought it was fine. And suggesting anything with regard to the ombudsman, he said there are quite a few steps that should be taken before that ever enters a picture, and that's why he said it's not on ours for that reason. But again, these are all things that we can certainly discuss.
I would like to discuss them. I found a couple of things in there that seemed a little odd. So,
Okay, so we will hopefully, and again, when we look at, and I know Will has looked into this, and when this all came out again on Friday, this, expansion or extension to the lockdown, and it was too late to get things out, but as Will has looked into things, it sounds like municipal offices or municipal meetings may be exempt. And if that's the case, we can still meet in person. The only problem is the numbers are so low that no public is allowed in. And that's why we're Zooming, because that at least allows the public to join us. But we can look at,
We can televise our meetings.
we could televise it and they can still look in. We can still go into public session or private session. And if we look at private session, it will mean changing the bylaw.
okay.
Okay?
One more thing. Do we have all the job descriptions in from Janet? Chris?
The last two are not in yet. She has questions. She needs clarification from council because there were a couple of conflicts she wanted cleared up.
So,
Ones that
Yeah.
came, I did circulate to council.
okay, because we really need those ASAP to look at them. I mean, we're going into May now.
What she needs to clarify, though, there were a couple of things that didn't make sense to what she was trying to put together. So she needs to know more direction from council on that.
And
Yeah.
we can't be, when can we do that?
As soon as we change our procedural bylaw, we can go into the closed session and she can zoom into that closed session.
Or if we're able to meet, all five of us meet together, or four of us, pardon me, we could have a private session at that time. So it could possibly be as early as the next meeting.
If you want to do that before replacing that missing counselor, yes.
Yeah.
So
So
we-
if we want to do that before we replace the counselor, it would be at the next meeting. And we would have to make sure that we could meet together, and we would have to then ask Janet to zoom in and have a discussion with us at that time. The
It
only
was
problem is we wouldn't have a new counselor yet.
With this job descriptions, I thought she was only reviewing it for wording, not rewriting them.
And
We put in what we wanted. Why are we getting her to rewrite them?
No, she's not rewriting them. She's just looking at them and she's making sure that everything is complete and covered. And that we cover all of the items.
Well, I think we should be getting, like Liz said, copies of it soon.
Okay,
I
Any
don't, are you done, Liz? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I agree with Liz.
Hello?
Or publicize it. It should be on the next agenda. And that we should be reviewing some of the old bylaws. I agree
Okay.
with Liz on that. And as far as the closed sessions, we have to work on that as soon as we can, because we've got to get some of these things filled, and we may have to look at discussions about the new council in closed session, new counselor.
No,
So I
you
agree
can't.
with,
That's not allowed, I'm sorry. I have
No,
to say.
the part on the new council selection, you can't do that in closed session.
Okay,
But other than that, the rest we can certainly look at.
can there not be a closed session or something determine who's doing what questions, or does that have to be public as well?
That's all public.
There would be
It's
no
all-
name.
Policy.
It's all public.
Counselors
Yeah.
are permitted to make up their own questions.
But-
You'll also receive the resumes and the candidates list once it closes and we certify the candidates. So you'll have more information, and then each council member can make up questions as per the procedure.
Yes, but each counselor making up, we may have 4 questions all the same.
Well, after the first person asks,
Yes.
and the other
Yeah,
guys,
and then, whoa, wait a minute. Then afterwards, see, other people are scrambling for a question. There has to be a get together or something to see who's asking what questions. I'm sorry.
well, hopefully you'll each have a number of questions and only one counselor will get one question.
Yes, but what if my question is a priority and then it's already asked by somebody that's, and I don't get the answer I want and I can't ask it again?
Well, I think you can rebut. You can still say, I wasn't clear on your answer. Could you please,
Okay.
give us more information?
Well, I'd like to see from the municipal act where it says we can't plan the questions ahead of time.
Okay, we'll look into it.
One last thing, Tom,
Yeah,
for Chris. Our council packages, again, we got them late again. We've asked this before. For me, it's unacceptable to receive a bunch of info the day of our meeting. Is there a reason why we can't get them Thursday or Friday at the very latest, the week before our council meeting? And Will was delivering them, and I get that we're going to order printers now, but we haven't received a package in 2 weeks.
Okay, the reason that I didn't circulate the package for this week was just the staff reports are all done.
Chris is breaking up.
okay, let me just speak up.
So the council-
And it must be the system at the office because John Paul and your worship, you were breaking up as well.
Okay, anyway,
Liz,
Yes,
Liz comes in perfect, as did Dan when he answered my question.
anyway, I guess the short answer will be this week was incredibly busy and the tax notices went out and the newsletters went out. So hopefully we will get them out earlier in the future.
we do. And staff should be notified too that we need them in sooner. And also, could we please have the accounts payable in our council packages?
Yeah, we can put a listing in there again.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There-
Just,
if-
Just the summary page.
Yep.
Okay, so we've made those notes. And are there any other questions? Okay, if not, we'll go to committee reports. And we'll start with, I guess, Councillor Marchant, you're front and center, so we'll start with you.
Nothing in the past, but do have a water source meeting next Wednesday. And as I sent you the paper and Chris, I presume there will be a closed session on it because they've asked for a confidentiality letter. So I'll find out more next Wednesday. Nothing from the vet committee.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Moore?
No, I think it's in Will's report that I met with fire chief at the museum to go over some COVID preparations for when and if we can open. That's it for me.
Okay, Councillor Scott?
I don't have any this week.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Scott. I have an East Home meeting tomorrow, so no East Home report. The Sturgeon Nipissing French River, there's no imminent flood, as anybody can see that's seen the lake. So they haven't had a conference call of late. I know any of you that listened to the news did hear that East Home was successful in getting their retrofit grant for heating, cooling, and air circulation at 5.3 million. So they will begin working on that immediately. So that was really good news from them. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report. So we will move on to resolutions. So first resolution is for the minutes of the meeting of April 6th. So I need a mover and a seconder for that.
Liz,
Okay, Counselor Moore
Um,
and Counselor Marchant. Thank you. So it's number R 2021-082, moved by Counselor Moore, seconded by Counselor Marchant, that the minutes of the meeting held April 6, 2021 be adopted as published. All in favor?
yes,
yes,
I,
Okay. Marchant, Moore, and Scott carried. Thank you. Okay. The second, number 5 on your agenda, the closed session meeting. A mover and a seconder. I see Counselor Scott. And a seconder.
yes,
Thank you, Counselor Marchant. Number R 2021-083, moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Marchant, that the minutes of the closed session meeting held April 6th, 2021 be adopted. All in favor?
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
Okay, thank you. Now, we've discussed the purchase of printers. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, we're at cameras first. But we pulled that out. So, did everybody read the material about the cameras
Just on Will's report.
on Will's report?
yes.
yes.
yeah.
Okay, do you have questions for Will on this particular,
Well,
on
I
his
don't-
report?
I don't know if it's a question. I did talk to Will. He mentioned, cameraing all of our buildings. And I thought, oh, well, and then the more thought I gave it, I think it's a little overkill. We're a pretty safe community here. I get with the incident, and I think we all thought it was a good idea to put it at the office. I thought we'd have one outside the office and one in the entranceway where people come in to see if in case an issue did arise. And I think we should start with that. I don't think it's important to do the other buildings at this point. And when and if we should decide to go ahead, I don't think I saw the rink shack on there. So, but right now, I think we should just stick to a couple at the office.
Yes. Okay, Liz?
Okay.
And
I
did
have
that money, sorry, did that include installation, the almost $8,000?
Yes, that has everything in it, including the monitors for the indoors.
That would be everything, and that was coming out of COVID money.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking right now, just the office. This COVID has thrown us a few curveballs and we don't really know what to expect down the road. So I think we should be we should be a little careful with our COVID money. And I don't think those security cameras are important for all buildings at this point in time. That's just my opinion.
All right, you finished? Okay, Liz?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to agree with Liz. I thought that we were only looking in the pricing for the office. I was a little surprised when I seen every building and the waste disposal sites and all that. I know it's COVID money, but as Liz said, down the road, we may need that money for something else.
I kind of disagree with you. I think that the landfill is a necessity. There are people that will act different at the landfill than they will at the office. Either all in, you're all out.
Well, have we ever had an incident there that's been reported to the police or anything?
Yes, we have.
And how much of the area would the camera cover? Like, there have to be more than one camera there.
They were looking at more than one camera at both sites.
4 cameras.
And there have been incidents, and I know we read about one this week in the Omagna News that happened in Powassan as well. And, you know, hopefully we don't have any more issues at ours, but it has happened at our landfills in the past. But if we want to look at this and discuss it in more detail, we can defer it for another time.
I think we should and come up with just a price on the office. As far as the, the landfills, where something happens between someone noticed it on a camera, it'd be a long time for law enforcement getting there. You'd have a record of it, but they also have a cell phone that they can video any incidents with. We provided them with an iPhone, did we not?
We did.
Yes,
So
and we do
that-
have 2 employees there now also, so.
They can use their iPhone to take video if something happens.
So we will retool this and we'll defer it to one of the next meetings then. Is that council's opinion?
Yes,
Yes.
Are you okay with that, James?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. So we will move on to the printers then. And,
Number 84.
okay. So this was to authorize the purchase of printers and supplies for council members that wanted the printer. So right now, the total cost is, I believe all of you got that as well,
yes.
they attached. So is there any discussion on that?
Can you give us a little more on those, info on those printers, Chris or John Paul? Like how, they seemed pricey to me, but I imagine that they're of better quality. How do we replace the ink for starters? Are we on an ink program? Are they wireless?
Did you want to, do you want me to
Yeah.
answer that, Chris?
Sure thing, John Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah, just with those printers, they're better quality. We're running them in the office and they have, they're running toner in them because those inkjets, they always kind of dry up and then you got to buy the little individual ones in that. So it's just a toner cartridge and it does a lot of sheets.
So so we would regularly replace the toner cartridge? Is that what you're saying, rather than an ink cartridge?
Yeah, like, well, the toner should do you for a very long time. Like they put out, I think it's like 700 sheets or that, like
Okay,
they last a long time. You don't have to keep changing inkjets or ink on them.
okay, and do we know what the cost to replace the toner is?
I'm thinking the whole printer, I think they're about, I'm trying to think how much the cartridges are. I could look that up.
Well, I don't want to
It-
delay ordering the printers, because I think we need them soon, so,
It
but you're saying,
suggests- It suggests that the toner will last for at least 1 year in
Yeah.
in a commercial application.
Okay.
So in our case, I would think definitely the next 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
okay, all right,
They're able also to connect directly to the iPhones that council has. So all of the
Yeah.
packages could just be printed directly wirelessly from your phone.
okay. Good,
Okay, are they have scanner fax in them? Cause like my printer I have, I can get 300 sheets out of a small cartridge for $100 and I can scan and print on it. And it was about $120.
Yeah, no, please don't have that.
They don't scan evidently.
would we need scanners?
Well, scanner, be nice to have something to fax a sheet in or something.
Councillor Marchant, does yours connect wirelessly to your phone to allow the printing and stuff, or is it all wired into your computer?
No, I'm just printed the agenda a couple of minutes ago using the AirPrint.
Okay.
It's wireless.
Okay.
It's an 8 HP. But the cartridges, the label says 300 black and white for the small cartridge, and you can get the bigger one. But if these ones have the toner, it may be, but I just thought we might be getting one with a fax scanner on it. But I guess we can take a picture.
Okay, if we're satisfied with that, I mean, if you want to wait and look for a scanner, we can defer that as well, or we can move ahead with the purchase of these.
Well, I wouldn't mind, but if the others aren't, we want to get it done because, we're all printing off our own machines right now.
You sure it doesn't have a scanner on there, Chris? On that quote? I just don't have it in front of me.
I have it here and it says, I don't see where you would put it through for a scanner. It says black and white print, interface, built-in Wi-Fi, print speed, two-sided printing, processor. Recommended up to 4,000 pages. That's all it has. It doesn't have a scanner. No.
That's a lot, 4,000 on that one.
Yeah.
On one cartridge?
Yep.
Yeah, like
Wow.
that one's gonna do you for a long time. I just thought it was a printer just to print a lot of sheets.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for because that's what we thought council was looking for. So we'll look up more information if that's what council would like.
Councillor Moore,
I'm good with this quote, especially now that I know there's 4,000 pages per cartridge. I'm good with that. For me, it's the printer that I needed.
okay, well, we can move this ahead if I have a mover and a seconder.
I will move it.
Second,
Okay, it's number R 2021-84, moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Scott. That we authorize the purchase of printers for council members from Grandin Toy. The total cost of $1,237.35. This purchase will be made using the COVID Safe Restart funding. All in favor?
Yes,
Councillor Marchant, are you for or against?
No, against. I think I'd like to see the physical size of them too.
Okay, and I'm gonna vote for So right now it's carried. And we'll move on to number 8. And you've got the information on this on a follow-up sheet. And number 8 is to stop up, close, and transfer Cedar Strip Way. And
I forwarded all the members of council the email from our lawyer. If you recall, there was a property owner that we went ahead and deemed the subdivision to be not a plan of subdivision. The owner then asked us to hold. And while they made some decisions, and now they've come forward and they want to proceed with the deeming of it. And this is simply to transfer back the property, the parkland property, the easements, or the 1 foot reserve and the road. So it just officially closes that plan of subdivision and returns the security.
does anybody have any other questions for Chris?
No,
So I would need a mover and a seconder then.
Oh, just a second, I had a question there, I guess broke up.
Okay,
Was that, will it all go back to one pin? All the lot,
No, I don't know. I can check with our solicitor. He sent me all the documents, so I was leaving that up to him when he finished the transfer.
because I just wondered we'll end up with a whole bunch of little tax bills for each of the separate lots going in.
When we deem it to be not a plan of subdivision, all of it gets merged back into one piece.
you're right, Tom, it goes back to 1.
Okay, goes back to one, good.
Yeah, no, that was a good question. So this is
Oh,
number
you're at number
86.
no, 85, because we had to say.
Yep. Okay, so it's 85 and I would need a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Okay,
Okay, I heard Counselor Marchant and Counselor Scott. And I'll read the motion. It's number R 2021-085, moved by Counselor Marchant, seconded by Counselor Scott, that we pass bylaw 2021-20, being a bylaw to stop up and close Cedar Strip Way, described as Cedar Strip Way, PL 42 M 650, and to authorize the transfer of Lot 1, PL 42 M 650, 31 PL 42 M 650, BLK 32 PL 42 M 650, BLK 33 PL 42 M 650, BLK 34 PL 42 M 650, Cedar Strip Way, PL 42 M 650, to Pace Savings and Credit Union Limited. Read a first, second, and third time and passed this 20th day of April 2021. All in favor?
Yes,
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 Thank you. And I am as well. Okay, thank you, and Pace Savings, thanks you as well. The correspondence.
I gave everyone a listing, but it's all.
We've given you a listing. Is there anything that caught anybody's eye? Because I can certainly read it if you'd like more information.
sorry, Tom, I got it about an hour before the meeting started, so I really haven't had a chance to look it over.
Okay, well, I'll just go over it. The first one is from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. And they're just talking about both the provincial declaration of emergency and stay-at-home order have been extended for an additional 2 weeks, okay?
That was passed on the 18th, so it was or the 17th from Saturday when they changed those items.
Right, so that became on last Saturday. And effective immediately, according to that, new authorities, and this is interesting, will allow a police officer or the provincial offenses officer in certain circumstances and with limitations to gather information from an individual for the purpose of determining whether they're in compliance. Now, we got that on Monday, it came out on Saturday, and already it's changed because no longer do the police officers have to check on compliance unless it's suggested they're going to a gathering. So this is again what we talk about, how quickly things have changed, and the premier has backed off on that one already. The next one, I think you may have heard on the news, the AMO policy update, municipal code of conduct consultation launched. And
AMCTO put that out as well.
right, and AMCTO as well. The province launches consultation on strengthening accountability for council members. And it's 90-day consultation. And it just basically says that you can contact the Municipal Affairs Office if you want to, if you have anything on this update or regarding conduct consultation. So that's Municipal Affairs Office. Next, we just have the minutes from the emergency management meeting. And
That's for 3 weeks. The health unit meets with us every Friday morning with all of the municipal CEMCs and staff who want to sit in on it. And we just get to ask questions and clarify for our district. So if we have to update anything or for our office closures and for our facilities.
so this is just the minutes, and it comes from Greg Rochon at the North Bay Perry Sound Health Unit. So there was nothing new there other than, again, what we hear on the news. They do mention how many incidents there are in North Bay and Perry Sound. And the health unit also now is launching a COVID-19 dashboard. And it's named the COVID-19 status report, and it's a one-stop location for the most up-to-date COVID-19 data for the health units just in this health units district. And it's available at, and I think we've seen this before, at www.myhealthunit.ca/COVID-19. And if anybody didn't get that, we have it here at the office, but it's myhealthunit.ca/COVID-19. And it's updated daily. Number 5, it seems quite a number of townships and let's say municipalities in the Nipissing Perry Sound Health Unit have asked to support different procedures or looking at vaccine allocation for the health unit. And we have a letter from Vic Fideli, MPP. And what he is saying is, as this indicates, our region is actually ahead of the provincial average at this moment. And I will continue to advocate for even more pharmacies. So again, this is one of those things that's changing daily. Question there, Tom?
Yeah, it's just a comment, like, when I went to book on the, for the 12th, the week before, on the Wednesday was 80, on the Thursday was 75, and then on the Friday was 70, and there was no notice of that. You know,
Right.
They were just changing it without telling people.
And the health unit is trying to get that information out, because I believe now they're going to 40 for AstraZeneca now from health providers and pharmacies and health providers. So it's really moving quite quickly. And I think we're as prioritized as anybody, because again, the shipments still come from the federal government to reach us, but now they're offering 40 in North Bay. So I think they've made some big steps there. I don't know if anybody watched the federal budget, but AMO put down the policy update, and just from the federal budget, highlighted broadband internet expansion, support for the tourism sector, and circular economy, which discusses recycling and broadband. And then again, they talk about long-term care, tourism, transit, and climate change. And Schedule 24 changes to consents and subdivisions in the Planning Act, and we will get more on this as it comes out.
We'll get that in hard print too for everybody.
Number 7, the Township of the Archipelago, and they're looking at invasive pragmites. And
They did contact us about that, asking if we wanted to be on the road committee or on the committee for that, but when I brought it forward to operations superintendent, it's not a real issue for us here as it is for them there.
okay, I don't know if you heard that. We brought it forth to the roads committee, and we don't have that issue right now here. But we're gonna see what they come up with, and it's really Lake St. Clair, Georgian Bay, St. Lawrence River. So I think we're still not quite in that control group. Next, it's just a thank you from Bell for providing a letter of support for Bell's application to the Universal Broadband Fund. And it says, your support demonstrates that access to high-speed internet is a stated priority for your community, and that the homes and businesses will benefit greatly from improved broadband service. And number 9, last but not least, every year, Omagron Highlands asks us and other area businesses to support the community school students by contributing to the graduation awards program. And we'll discuss this at a meeting later on, whether or not we want to send a donation as we have in the past. Now, is there any question on the correspondence?
Oh,
The only thing on the letter from Bell is sometime we should be looking like there's no way they can run fiber optics on their existing system right now, because half it's such bad delay. It's going to fall down. Some of it, there's trees on it. Sometime we should be looking at something to the good roads or to Phenom about the poor condition of the Bell right of ways.
I think that's a good idea. I think every time I drive the road, I see another black spruce over a bell line, so.
Well,
That's
it impacts on the condition of our roads. It's
It does.
an area that's blocking the sun and stuff because we can't trim it.
You're right, and I think we'll have to, this will definitely come up, and I'm sure we're not the only ones, Tom, that are running into this. So we will be in discussion when like you say, they can't run a fiber optic line on something that has a spruce tree on it. That's for darn sure.
No, and they can't bury it in this country.
No. No. So if there are no other questions on that, we'll move to accept the correspondence.
Yes.
And, okay, and I'll put Counselor Marchant
Liz,
and Counselor Moore. So it's number R 2021-86. Moved by Counselor Marchant, seconded by Counselor Moore, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I as well, carried. The statements of accounts, and what we'll do is if we do not meet, and even if we do, we'll attempt to get these out in advance and as early as possible. Hopefully this will be a better week for us. So the statements of accounts, the total is $78,822.21. And I would need a mover and a seconder, please.
James.
Counselor Scott.
Oh, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
No,
No,
correct. You're right, Counselor Scott. As soon as you
Okay.
said that, I look over and see pecuniary interest. So,
Liz,
Counselor Moore, Counselor Marchant, thank
Yeah.
you. Which number was that?
You are on number 87.
Okay, so it's number R 2021-87, moved by Counselor Moore, seconded by Counselor Marchant, that the statement of accounts dated April 12th, 15, and 2021 totaling $78,822.21 be approved. All in favor?
yes.
Yeah.
And I as well, carried. Okay, and now we've taken those notes on complaint policy, private session, accounts receivable, information beforehand. And
Yes.
if there's anything I've missed, feel free to just give me a call, send me a text, or call the office. And we'll try to look into this for our next meeting. And I'm sincerely hoping that we are together for our next meeting because we have plenty of things to talk about. So it's the confirming proceedings, 88. So, Counselor Scott, did you want to?
Certainly will.
Thank you. And seconded by,
Liz,
thank you, Counselor Moore. So it's number R 2021-88. It's moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Moore, that we pass bylaw number 2021-21, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on April 20th, 2021, read the first, second, and third time and passed this 20th day of April 2021. All in favor?
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. And the last one is the next meeting will be held May 4th. We'll still be under state of emergency, but by then we'll have more clarity and more direction. And hopefully we will be able to meet in person. It's number R 2021-89. I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, I'm gonna say Counselor Scott, I heard Counselor Marchant. So number R 2021-89, moved by Counselor Scott, seconded by Counselor Marchant, that the meeting be adjourned at
It is.
I don't-
7:27.
7:27 PM. Next regular meeting to be held May 4th, 2021. All in favor?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, thank you, carried. And I thank you all for making yourself available tonight, and we've got some good material here, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that up, and hopefully we can meet in person in the future. So everyone have a good night, and thank you ever so much.
Good night.
All right.